Hey, we're back here. I'm Mike AD, and this is... and this is the Knights of the Squared Circle Wrestling Podcast. Tonight we're just going over the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which was pretty freaking good. Joey calls it a solid 7 out of 10. I think everybody went home with a nice sweet taste in their mouth. So, very happy about that. Very, very happy about that. If you don't know, Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank ladder match tonight. He later then cashed in his Money in the Bank contract and beat Seth Rollins, who actually beat Roman Reigns tonight clean. In other action, Rusev insulted Titus O'Neil's family and said, Happy Father's Day, your dad's a loser. Okay, next match.
That seemed to be your favorite segment the whole night. It's just you're never going to get over this.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, AJ beat Cena tonight. Guess what? Interference. Okay, anyhow, we can't talk about this pay-per-view all night. Usually when we have one of these Money in the Bank things, the holder of the case holds it for a certain period of time, and then there's a certain level of anticipation about when it's going to be cashed in. Not so much tonight because it was cashed in 37 minutes after it was won. So they're not going to have any of that stuff. So maybe they decided they wouldn't do it this year because we're doing a brand split. So whoever has the case is going to be stuck on one show. So they figure let's just get rid of it and we'll worry about whatever it is next year or whatever. So I think it's been about a couple weeks, right, Joey?
Yes.
Before that they actually announced that there was going to be a brand split 2.0.
Brand extension.
Yeah. So we're back to Raw. 3 hours. Separate show, separate roster. And SmackDown is going live. Which is, they should have done a long time ago. Because SmackDown is, ceased to be a good wrestling program and now is today a good review show for Monday Night Raw.
Nothing really is original on SmackDown is the problem. It just feels like every other feud that's on Raw, okay, we'll extend it to SmackDown. Or it's like, here's the recap show.
Maybe the fact that these rivalries seem incredibly stale quickly is because we have the same matches twice a week times 4. This, do you remember that whole rivalry from the last pay-per-view? It was Extreme Rules, right?
Right.
Roman Reigns and the Usos against AJ Styles and the club.
Yeah, it was the club versus the bloodline.
Yeah. Oh no, I love the name. I hate the name of the club. I put the club on my car, okay, on my steering wheel to prevent it from being stolen. Club is something on a deck of cards.
It's because they can't use the word bullet.
They can't use. Yes, they can.
They can't have it on paper because it's in
bullet
Japan.
Train. That sounds a little more devastating than club.
Well, it's because in Japan their contract is like you're the Bullet Club. They can't already have.
I'm aware
your contract
of this.
says you're also the Bullet Club.
You can't have the Bullet Club in 3 promotions at the same time. I'm aware of this.
So that'd be great cross promotion if you think about it.
Oh, I do, but I don't think that they would allow that.
Well, WWE wouldn't allow it.
Just, you know what? They have something called the Baylor Club. Are they just waiting till Finn Balor comes up and then takes control of this thing, and then it becomes the Balor Club?
They were hinting after he lost to Samoa Joe on NXT TakeOver at the end, which I thought was a pretty kick-ass name, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He got given a super muscle buster from the top rope from Samoa Joe, and he was kind of hinting, maybe I don't want to be NXT anymore. But then Shinsuke Nakamura came out, he's like, I want to fight you, so let's fight each other. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that'll be his last match before he goes to the main roster.
Yeah, he'll lose again. Did you happen to see the match that he had with Zayn?
Yeah, I did.
Shinsuke Nakamura? Oh, my goodness. This guy, the charisma that this guy's got.
Their match saved that card.
Oh, I would agree. Yeah, so it looks like this SmackDown roster is going to expand a little bit because we're going to need talent. So they're going to have to call up all these NXT guys. And guess what? We're having a draft on the 11th of July. Are you getting excited for this, Joey?
I'm pretty excited for this. We have it, the first draft ever was back in 2001, 2002, right after WrestleMania X8.
Oh, is that when it happened? Right after?
Yeah, it was somewhere around there.
Yeah, because it was the Ric Flair Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair chose all the old fat guys. And Vince McMahon took all the really, really good wrestlers. And as a result, for like about 4 or 5 months in a row, SmackDown was the show to watch.
Yeah, I believe it was like before, after. I believe it was after, simply because we didn't really have
because it was the last. Oh yeah, that's an interesting point of trivia, isn't it? Shortly after that, they announced the brand split. The World Wildlife Federation sued the WWF.
Yeah,
and they changed their name to the World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated. Get the F out.
Stupid
promotion
shirt.
I actually want to get one of those shirts. That's a great shirt. Get the F out.
But it's like they know
that's what I want to
can't
say
call
to Michael
ourselves
Cole every single time he comes into my television set. Just get the fuck out
used
of my
to
side.
people. The fucking wrestlers used to wear that shirt themselves.
Get the F out.
Yeah.
That's great. Anyhow, we're gonna have separate rosters here. Is this a good decision?
Well, honestly, like, I do think it's a good decision, but this is how they have to do it if they want to, like, split the brands again. They need certain talent, certain types of wrestling on certain shows. Like, I would say keep the women's division on Raw, but keep the tag team division on SmackDown. So it gives an excuse to watch the other show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that it's live, they're going to actually give someone a reason to tune in to the show.
Do you remember years ago, back in 2006, where the company was like probably at its peak, like its greatest it's been in WWE, 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously not counting what happened in Benoit, that's obviously one of the darkest times in that company.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the roster was and the way the champions were.
Was it about a year back? I was on one of these like YouTube watching,
YouTube
things.
watching?
Yeah, like I would just YouTube watching, using up all my data plan, kind of stuff. You just sit there in the basement. You've been watching stuff all day. Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. I've been watching YouTube all freaking day, and I was watching like a score of WrestleManias, and the one that I saw was I think it was WrestleMania 19 from Seattle. My God, man! You look at the roster that they had at WrestleMania X9, 19, or whatever you want to call it.
It was X1X.
X1, is that what they call it? X1X?
Well, it was 19, but
WrestleMania Zix.
They were starting to use the Roman numerals, like they were starting to like end it. Like right after WrestleMania 20, they stopped for years.
Now they're really stopping it. Now they're just using symbols. WrestleMania.
They only brought it back for WrestleMania 30, but obviously they fucked up when they realized, WrestleMania XXX.
Oh, that could
69 days away.
69 days away, WrestleMania Triple X.
Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
I guess they didn't realize what those numbers meant. I think that's funny.
Immature dickheads.
It's like I honestly, nothing says extreme like WrestleMania Triple X.
And now we don't even have numbers. It's like WrestleMania Play Button, WrestleMania Star,
WrestleMania Sun,
WrestleMania Moon,
WrestleMania Lightning Symbol, WrestleMania. Well, what's it going to be? WrestleMania On Button. Like, what's going to be the next WrestleMania?
WrestleMania Middle Finger.
Yeah, I guess so. They're going to be like WrestleMania with these like emoji symbols because they're actually running out of useful shit.
Yeah, well, literally shit emoji, which Enzo had on tonight.
So, I think generally the reaction to the brand split has been, at least from the fans that I speak to, that I associate with, that it's been extremely positive. Mainly because every single time you promise change, it's like everyone just loses their shit. It's like, oh, really? Oh, things are going to be different? This is going to be awesome. But it ends up turning back into the same mundane bullshit. What
personally do you think, like, when we still had the brand split, what do you think was the worst year at this company?
The worst year?
What made you want to just, like, you didn't feel like watching wrestling for the longest time?
Well, like week after Roman Reigns is champion.
Before Roman was even part of this company. For me,
Jack Swagger is world heavyweight champion.
That was 2009, 2010.
That was kind of brutal.
That's when he won the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, that seems like it. Like, how long ago was that? 7 years ago? Welcome to the mid card. Oh, Christ.
And now I just saw him actually before I watched the kickoff show. I saw him on main event. He was fighting Victor.
Victor.
Yeah, because apparently Connor's hurt. I don't know.
Victor. By the way, I love that tag team. I love that Ascension tag team. I love the music. I mean, the fucking red light, and these guys start coming out. They look like they're gonna play rollerball. Like they got the fucking spikes. They look like the Legion of Doom and everything.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the TV show Roller Derby?
Yes, I do.
It was like they played off like rollerblading as like a fucking wrestling show.
Yeah. Have you actually seen the original Rollerball?
Yeah, I have. I've seen a few movies somehow.
The original, not the movie that was made in the 2000s. There was a movie made in like I think it's like the late 70s. It's Rollerball. That's worth seeing because there is some. I won't get into it because like that's the subject for another time. But it's like they have all these cool analogies and allegories towards corporatization of the world. And it's a really cool movie if you can really take the movies from the 70s, you really can deal with that. So great film. But yeah, the Ascension, that's what they look like. I love these guys. I love it. They come out and then they lose in 15 seconds.
Well, it's because like right after they beat the New Age Outlaws, like the night after when like it was like another anniversary of Raw where you had the More of the Legends come out, they fucking buried them.
Yeah. That don't do good for your career when a bunch of like 70-year-old guys beat the shit out of you. That's not good. Anyhow, this brand split, I'm enthusiastic about it because of the cool television that it's going to make. But like after which point, what are we gonna be dealing with?
Well, like this is going to increase ratings, no doubt about it. There are going to be a lot of people tuning into SmackDown now, but then there's that big gap.
It better not be the same as SOS.
Well, yeah, because
then people are gonna if this is just gonna be the same thing as before, or if SmackDown's just gonna be another B show, then who's gonna bother to tune in? Like, I want to be optimistic, man. I'm a wrestling fan. I want to be optimistic, but I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a masochist. I torture myself with this stuff.
I honestly miss the days when John Cena and Batista were the champions of each show. That's when I actually watched both shows, like simultaneously. I never missed a single episode.
Like Batista was world heavyweight champion, correct?
Yeah, Batista was world champion. John Cena was WWE champion. There was also the Armageddon, which was like the last pay-per-view back in 2006, where they were a tag team versus Booker T and Finlay. Okay. Well, King Booker, but the point is, like, that's where it mattered. Yeah. Like, it had you tune in. The stories were great. It was great wrestling.
And now that you have a separate roster for every single show, you don't have to worry about all the stories getting really bland quickly. So if you see something 1 week, you wait 1 week to see what happened afterward. You don't have to wait like 4 days to see the same thing played out. Or the same match as it was 4 days ago, but the result is reversed. It's like, this week I beat you. This week I was like, I'm going to go to SmackDown, then I'm going to lose to you. And it's like, who was it that was having that rivalry? And it lasted like, it was like 3 months, and it was the same guys that fought back and forth for a month and a half. That seems like everybody. It seems like everybody.
It seems like the rivalry usually lasts like at least like 3 to 4 months, and then like moving on to something else.
Okay. So, this self-destruction of Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon right on schedule. They're starting to get on each other's nerves.
Did you happen to see the segment where Tay Long came back?
Yes. Horrific. Very bad. I knew that would happen eventually. I think they're going to start bringing back guys that have been the general manager before, but I think it's going to be those two. I got to be honest.
You think they'll bring back Mike Adamle?
No, I certainly hope so. I was at a Raw when that guy was still the GM, and I remember it was my nephew. It was Adam and Marco. We were at the show together, and we were starting a chant. You can't. What was that we were starting? You can't manage.
Because like he couldn't even pronounce the guy's name.
Yeah, it was the
Jeff
worst.
Harvey.
It was the worst. He was the worst.
I remember actually, this was like years ago, back in like 2001 when the XFL, yes, that was still around. He was one of the fucking commentators.
Yeah. You know what? But that guy came from a news background.
But obviously he had no idea what he was doing in this company.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, Vince thinks that just because you work for another professional news or media company that you can just jump right in there and you belong. I mean, Renee Young. Of course, in Canada, we all know her as the Scores Renee Paquette.
And we also knew R.L. Cal before he was Kyle Edwards.
Kyle. Can you believe that? Kyle Edwards.
It's the most generic name you can give a guy.
I know. Like, what says diverse in your company? Like a name like Arda Ojal. Okay? The guy's like, Arda Ojal. Okay? But they said, we're going to change your name because somehow we want to start KyleEdwards.com or something like that with your name, and to make sure that you can't get a job anywhere else in the entire world doing what you were doing for us. That's selfish bullshit. Anyhow.
And they've released him. He doesn't even work for the company anymore.
Who?
Arda.
What do you mean they released him?
They fired him like last month or two.
Why?
They didn't need him. They didn't know what to do with him.
They didn't know what to do with him.
That's like half the guys in that company.
What the flying fuck?
Do you remember when
they released Arda Ojal?
Yes, they released a few guys actually. They also released the other NXT
but they
commentator
kept,
that was on
but they kept that
show.
Fucking the fucking walking stick guy. That fucking new guy that was doing all the interviews tonight.
Tom Phillips.
Tom Phillips.
He actually took the place of the former NXT announcer because they also fired him.
Tom Phillips, but you don't keep Arda Ojal? That guy, that was his fucking dream to be working for that company. And you have him freaking doing fucking Canadian fucking announcement reports.
What's up, Canada? I'm Kyle Edwards.
I'm Kyle Edwards. Here's what's going to be going on. Let's buy T-shirts. Like Arda Ojal, one hell of a freaking broadcaster.
We've met that guy. He's amazing to talk to.
Yeah. I got a picture on my phone with him somewhere.
He was doing his own promotion. He was doing Maximum Pro Wrestling. We saw him. We talked to him. We saw the referee doing some matches too.
You released Arda Ojal.
Yeah, they did. I'm surprised you didn't know this.
No, I just found this out, dude. I'm furious. I feel for him. Maybe it's because he doesn't have a pair of tits. So, yeah, this brand split.
I know we got off topic, but
I know it is, but it's worth it. I think it's worth hearing my rage. Actually, I could lose it, but it's like 2:00 at night and there's people sleeping. I have sympathy for them. I could lose my shit like you won't believe.
Next chance, if we ever get this in like the afternoon or something, go to town.
Fuck's sakes. Arda Ojal. Rest in peace, buddy.
Hey, would you be any like upset about the other guys who got released?
Who else got released?
Cameron. I don't really give a shit. She can't wrestle.
Oh, she's not very good.
Adam Rose actually just got released.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Adam Rose because he has a disabled child.
Yeah, I saw that on the
I feel bad for Adam Rose, but he did some stupid shit. Stupid shit. You don't get drugs without a prescription, and then you get involved in some kind of domestic violence thing.
That's your wife.
That is just poison for your career. Bad mistake for him. I feel bad for the kid caught in the middle of the whole thing. Who else?
Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett. That guy wasn't happy to begin with. I hope he has a good time in Britain.
He said he was going to be done like at the end of the summer.
Talk about a guy that had everything. The guy had the promo. The guy had good looks. The guy had a decent physique. He was tall. The guy had good wrestling ability. And what do? They bury him with one shitty gimmick after another. And then, of course, you or I would be disenfranchised by such a thing. So,
I think there was a little bit more. There was also Alex Riley.
Alex Riley? Oh, I heard some story that John Cena buried that guy.
Well, like after that shit with The Miz, he was like pretty much done.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Damien got released too.
Damien Sandow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking pissed about that too. I know about that.
So like you'll give the title to a guy who's now over like Roman, but you're gonna fire a dude who is over like Sandow.
Sandow, yeah. The fans love him. You give this guy a turd and he turns it into a cake. It is amazing.
Yeah, have your cake, eat it too.
Yeah, not a shit cake.
Obviously,
But
not.
I'm just, yeah, that's a horrible analogy. It really is.
Um,
But this guy, yeah, he makes an amazing shit sandwich.
apparently Santino was also released.
Yeah, but he
I know he stopped wrestling.
he retired a little while ago, and they just did that to be official.
Well, they had some little
Did they-
communications with him. They still kept in contact because he still has his battle arts school.
He's gonna be back. He's
Yep.
gonna be back. So
Here's one that actually confused me: Brooklyn Brawler.
I don't know why. Because maybe he had a veterans one of those contracts.
Maybe he was working some behind the scenes stuff, and maybe they just
He might have been an agent, and they wanted to flush out some of the old guys, get some new guys in there. Because I think he was a road agent.
Well, they got rid of frickin' what the hell was his name? Huge Erection.
Huge erection.
You know who I'm talking
Hugh
about,
Morris.
right? Yeah, Hugh Morris.
Yeah, I forget what his real name is, but apparently he was a real prick.
Yeah, apparently he was a dick, so they got rid of him.
Yeah, and then didn't they get rid of the other guy, Mr. Ass?
Yeah, Billy Gunn. He was doing some shit too.
Oh, because you're a trainer and you couldn't pass the drug test.
Fuck's sakes.
Because he was into bodybuilding. What fucking 50-year-old guy fucking into bodybuilding? Okay. Anyhow.
Yeah, there's just horrible people sometimes. Let's get back to
what you think is going to happen, because this thing with the Stephanie and Shane, it's really kind of starting to blow up right on schedule, which means sooner or later they're going to go, I want one show and I want the other, and they're already arguing about it.
It could come down to, Shane runs Raw and then Stephanie runs SmackDown like she did back in 2003.
I think it's going to be the reverse. I think they're going to let Stephanie run the flagship show, and then they're going to let Shane run the new, fresh-looking show to see what happens.
Maybe because people would rather see more of Shane than Steph.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Because, if you're going to have two GMs, you got to have one that's kind of the bad guy and one that's the good guy. You can't have them both the same. You can't have two shows with the same authority. It just gets so freaking rote. What happened with Seth Rollins and Kane and the Big Show and that big huge 25-man entourage that was crushing everybody week after week. Honestly, I didn't want to watch wrestling when they were there. That was one of the low moments for me. One of the really great moments was when Dolph Ziggler beat them all single-handedly.
That was the Survivor Series.
Yeah, and that was a great moment, only to have it totally reneged and reversed within 2 weeks, and Dolph Ziggler to be completely buried once again within a month.
That wasn't even John Cena's fault. He was on his team.
Anyhow, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Who do you think is going to be drafted where?
I think Cena's going to stick to Raw, though, because he's been there ever since he got drafted.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they did that little dick motion back in 2011. Mm-hmm. I don't know when the last draft was. They did where it's he moved to SmackDown. Then the same night he moved back to Raw.
Yeah,
that was a fucking waste. That's just so stupid.
Yeah, it was kind of wasteful, but it was amusing, but then annoying. I honestly think that if they honestly believe that Roman is the guy, then Roman will be on Raw. And John Cena will be on SmackDown.
Maybe they might do the opposite.
It's possible. It's possible after they took the title off him tonight. We'll see. It looks like Dean Ambrose is going to be on Raw.
Where would you put the Divas division?
I would put them on Raw, man. I would put it on Raw, and I would separate it. I also think that once this Cruiserweight Classic thing is done, I think the Cruiserweights are going to SmackDown.
So we're pretty much doing exactly what we did back in 2006.
I guess so. This whole tag team thing, I don't know what they're going to do.
Are they going to split the tag titles again?
I think it's a mistake. They don't have enough tag teams as it is right now to make a division. It's the same thing with splitting the Divas, the women's title. That's a mistake. They just unified it. They just got rid of the Divas thing. They turned it into the women's title. You're having some kind of credibility for women's wrestling. So I don't see them doing that. I see women's wrestling on Raw. I see a brand new Cruiserweight division on SmackDown. I see them bringing back the big gold belt with a nice blue strap. It's going on SmackDown. Like some kind of tournament battle royal to determine whoever it is that's going to be winning this thing.
So, what titles would you like to see in each show then, if you had to name them off?
If I had to name them off, Raw would be the WWE title. I'd have the IC title, probably on Raw. And then I would have the Divas title, the women's title on Raw.
So then SmackDown would have the World Heavyweight title,
the Cruiserweight title, and the US title. I don't know what's going to happen with the tag thing situation. That's a lot of wrestlers that constitute a tag division, man. I mean, to split it up.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything, you got to do an alternating contendership idea, where like 1 month it's the team from Raw, best team on Raw that gets the shot at the title. The next month it's the team from SmackDown that gets a shot at the title, and it goes back and forth,
right?
Back and forth, and like it's confusing with the tag titles being the only team that ever faces both shows. I don't know what to tell you. It's a real clusterfuck at this point.
Like for me, I was thinking like honestly, now I'm thinking about it, it's probably a bad decision. Like if you had like the WWE title, the IC title, the US title, the women's title on Raw, and then SmackDown would be the world title, the Cruiserweight title, the tag title.
That's a good idea too. Then you have all your undercard like stuff all in one show.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, SmackDown would then again be full of some smaller guys that are higher energy, and that's what you want when you have a brand new product that's going live. When WCW was peaking, that's what they had. They opened all the shows with cruiserweight matches.
Which I sometimes watch that even like when they show like the Nitro events sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I find that amazing. Like I see like Eddie Guerrero, I see Juventud, I see Mysterio.
Wouldn't you like to see that?
I would like to see a show kick off with the lighter guys.
With like you want to see Neville against Sami Zayn in like cruiserweight title match. I don't mind seeing that. That would be cool as a SmackDown contribution to a pay-per-view. I think that's excellent. 2 world titles. I think it diminishes the title. I think that the next time that we get together, I'd like to talk about the whole history of the title split.
Maybe we'll do like a whole history of like every major title, like who had it since.
Dude, I had it on my phone, and who had the title and when. I mean, the more titles you have, the less they mean. And recently, they've been doing a lot of consolidation of the titles that they have, and now we're doing this brand split again. And it seems like all they're doing is they're expanding the titles again. It's going to be like everyone's going to be world champion again. Is Dolph Ziggler going to be world champion again?
So saying we should have some mid-cards be a champion again.
Yo, do we have to create titles in order to get guys that should like be over?
Well, they're not going to be stupid like TNA. Let's make a fucking a television title. Let's make a tag team women's title.
That was not a good decision.
They retired that title after a year.
Wasn't it Eric Young? Eric Young was the women's tag champion.
With ODB, his supposed wife in the show.
Yeah, that was funny, actually. I thought it was amusing. And then they got rid of the titles, correct?
And then they got rid of Eric Young, and now he's on NXT, actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm very happy for Eric Young.
There's so many guys that are like, you know what? Christopher Daniels said, once AJ left TNA, the boat starts to sink. Which is true. He went to WWE, and now like so many other guys are going to NXT.
The exodus begins.
They got Samoa Joe, they got Eric Young, they got Bobby Roode, they got James Storm, and they're going to get Daniels soon. And now they have Austin Aries. Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels is going to go there?
They had some rumors he was going to go there.
Oh, Christ. Oh, Christopher Daniels is the greatest.
I know James Storm is still on TNA. He made that little appearance on NXT, but he'll probably be in the major company.
Who leaves WWE to go back to TNA?
Caval, apparently. Senshi.
Fuck.
Now known as Loki again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Went from TNA. He won NXT when it was that stupid show I never gave a shit about. They're like that kind of on again, off again reality show.
Yeah.
He won it.
Yeah.
And he decided to make it, I'm not going to go after World title. I'm going to go after the IC title. Loses that. And then after 2 or 3 months, he's released. Goes back to TNA as Loki.
Caval, right? Caval.
Yeah, when he was Caval in WWE.
Caval. It was like Mr. Basso.
I think
he was like the little guy with a "Don't fuck with me because I got the velvety voice."
He even made a joke about TNA during one of his promos. It's funny.
Wow.
I think his moves might have been banned though in WWE, which was a major problem. Like he couldn't do the key crush, or he couldn't do the Warriors way.
Oh fuck!
Like that's a new.
It's
thing
not even. That's a whole other discussion altogether.
Yeah, we'll discuss like band moves later and why.
We'll get there, but it's. Oh Christ! So this is the point that we've come to. The first brand split was in like 2001 or 2, right?
I'm trying to remember specifically because
and
there was a point
where do you think it jumped the shark?
It jumped the shark.
Yeah. When do you think it? Yeah, I guess
became a little bit ridiculous.
No. You are aware of that phrase, "jump the shark."
Like where it
just went wrong, and yeah, at that point it became no good.
The brand split.
Yeah.
It was, I believe, the last time they had the brand split.
At what point do you think? Do you think it just when it started, you thought it was a bullshit idea?
I thought it started, and I saw it like every year. I thought, oh, this is exciting. I'm going to see new guys and new shows. The bullshit part is when Cena jumped from SmackDown to Raw on the same night. That was the last time they had, and they realized that was stupid. We should never do this again.
Right.
I find it hard.
I find it hard. At some point, I stopped watching SmackDown, and I can't recall at what point that was.
I only see the SmackDown on YouTube as like the top 10 moments because there's no reason to watch it.
Yeah, it just became a recap show. Oh Christ! You know, I remember when if you miss SmackDown, you miss something. Something happened. Don't you remember when Edge cashed in the Money in the Bank contract on The Undertaker?
Yeah, right after Mark Henry turned and destroyed his ass.
Yeah.
He cashed it in, and then like the next night on Raw, he's like, oh, I'm going to SmackDown now.
And don't forget, the debut of the Great Khali.
We don't talk about Botch Lee.
So, there we are. So we all genuinely believe that this is a good thing? Or do you think 2 years from now we're going to be stuck in the same situation where all of a sudden here it is, it's the redistribution draft, and before you know it, everyone is switched between shows like 17 times?
All I can really say is time will tell. We have to actually see what happens in that show, and then we can judge for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going to be the first World Heavyweight Champion for SmackDown in 2.0?
If I had to make an assumption on who's part of the main roster right now, I would pick Cesaro.
You'd pick Cesaro?
That guy needs a break.
I know he needs a break. Maybe on SmackDown he's actually going to get a break and he's going to get a run as world champion. But I mean, in a company with one world champion, I don't think he stands a chance of being champion ever.
He could win it and then like keep it for a month and then lose it. Like that's just let him have it.
Seth Rollins had it for 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Yeah, but he had it for a really long time when he won it.
Dude, I think we got this in the last segment.
I know, but
nothing pisses me off about the titles becoming totally illegitimate by a guy having them either so many times or for such a short amount of time each time.
Well, there was a point last year where you're like, okay, these titles don't mean anything anymore.
No, it gets to the point like ever since Brock had it for a long time.
He was a part timer, and there was like 4 months, 4 fucking months, no title matches.
Yeah, and when that guy dropped the title, it was a big deal, right? But you think Hulk Hogan had a lot of title matches back in the day?
He had one like every single fucking pay-per-view.
How many was there back then? There was 4. There was 4, okay?
Yeah, but like
there was no In Your House.
Yeah, but in the span of like a year, like he's had it for
Hulk Hogan had it for 4 years, but like if you can count the number of actual title defenses that he had within those 4 years as champion, now you're going to compare that to the number of title defenses that CM Punk had when he was champion for 410, 16 odd days that he was champion.
Well, he put in more of an effort because like now you actually put in more of an effort these days.
Yeah, I mean there's television. There's so much product.
Sometimes the title can even be defended on the TV.
Yeah. So there's like 3.5 hours of television on one show. Then there's like 2 hours of television on another show. Then you got an hour of NXT. Then you got Superstars. Then you got some other B show. Then you
Main
got
event.
a recap show.
Sometimes
then you
on
got all
Saturday
this-
they have like a kids show called like Saturday Morning Slam,
Yeah.
which is like one match and the rest are YouTube segments.
Do you want to know why people are sick of Randy Orton against Sheamus?
Because
There's too much time to fill. When I could see King Kong Bundy kill a guy in 15 seconds,
and get a 5 count.
and all of a sudden Hulk Hogan came out and did a promo. Okay, that's cool. And then like one meaningful match, right? Then you wonder, okay, all right. Now the fact that I see Hulk Hogan in there with Jake the Snake, if Jake the Snake was against Hulk Hogan today, they would have fought each other 16 times before they met each other on pay-per-view. I just don't want to get to that point with.
I think we've already
brand
gone to
split.
that point like maybe a few years ago with Cena versus Orton.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, obviously they're trying not to never do that again.
They're going to do it again. They're going to be Sheamus against Randy Orton, and the fans are going to be doing, doing JBL chant,
Michael
Cole chant.
Now we're gonna
They're going to be
Byron
doing
Saxton
yes
chants.
chants, Byron Saxton chants. They're going to be doing like, you
NXT
can't
chants.
wrestle chants. You can do this is boring chants.
The worst I've ever seen the crowd eating up to wrestlers was, again, going back to the ECW, was the Big Show versus Batista. You ever seen that match?
No, I have not.
The crowd goes ape shit. They were like, same old shit. Change the channel. You both suck. Because it was two WWE guys in a fucking ECW
You know what?
event.
Sometimes I get pissed off when the fans hijack the show because I think they're just trying to get attention for themselves.
Yeah, because like,
Then there's some times where like, you know what? These guys are laying a big fat elephant turd in the ring and they're getting their just desserts.
yeah,
they
like,
should
that's
eat it.
that's when they deserve it. Like when they're not giving you what you want. But it's like these guys are busting their ass and like you're still shit talking them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no disrespect to ECW because I love the hell out of that show.
Mhm.
I love the way it was.
Yep.
But when I look at the fans, like these hardcore fans, it's like they don't fucking go there to
Mhm.
watch wrestling. They go there to chant.
So when this thing debuts, I think they're gonna probably put a title on somebody right away. They're gonna want to get a definitive champion right away.
Well, the first thing they're going to
I
do
think
is
that
bring
John
back a
Cena's
title.
going to be on SmackDown. John Cena's going to be on SmackDown.
You think
and
he'll
whoever-
go back to his Vanilla Ice gimmick?
No, I don't. I think that it's like it's too easy of a choice to put the world title on John Cena. I mean it's the fact that he's won it 15 times already.
Been screwed over.
Wherever Cena goes, I think AJ's going to go. Do you think wherever AJ goes, the club is also going to go?
I believe so. I mean,
Okay.
who knows? We could have
That
like,
could be SmackDown, so that would mean okay, we got our tag teams on SmackDown.
well,
Put Cena,
yeah.
put Cena on there. It would be great with AJ as world champion SmackDown.
I could see Cena being the WWE champion, AJ being the world heavyweight champion.
I think they're just stuck on the Shield thing. I think the whole Shield is going to be on Raw, and have the John Cena AJ Styles on the other side. All the lightweight, high energy guys, and sooner or later, I mean, within a month, I'm never going to be watching Raw ever again.
Well, if it goes that good, that's
I
fine.
certainly hope it's the way that I hope it is. I hope the show has balance. I hope it does. But like they always find a way to fuck it up.
well, only the future
Find a
can
way
tell.
to they always find some way to take this freaking free gold bar, okay? And to fucking destroy it. With these preconceived notions about what they want. We'll see how many more guys they destroy. But do I think AJ's going to be a world champion? Yes, I do. Do you think that Cesaro is going to be a future world champion?
Well, I see him as a future champion in general.
I think that Kevin Owens,
Yes.
I think he's a future world champion, and within a year he's going to be world champion. I sincerely believe that. Guy like Sami Zayn, I don't just you think he's a little small.
I say give him more time on the main roster. Give him a small singles title. Make him work his way up at least.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, let's do a kind of a conclusion here to this whole thing. We're actually both extremely happy with the way things went down tonight. Very happy that Roman Reigns did not leave with the world title. Very happy for Dean Ambrose. Extremely happy for Dean.
Especially happy since the last time he fucking had this type of match.
He had the title for 20 seconds before it got taken away from him.
Which is still like, that's the stupidest way I would have done it.
It's like, you know what? I was at the point with Dean Ambrose. It was like, they're gonna push this guy 95% of the way, and then they're never gonna let him go all the way. And then they're gonna ruin all chance of any positive result from him. Period. That's just what I believe. Because if you wait too long to give a guy the push, you're never gonna get the response that you want. So tonight is like now or never. So I'm very, very happy for him. So thank you very much for listening to this. I'm Mike AD.
I'm the Black Shadow, Joey Donato.
And this has been the Knights of the Squared Circle Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you very shortly.